Alrighty everyone, welcome back. It is now May 24th. I hope you're all having an amazing Wednesday so far as we approach the weekend, and given that we're closing in on June now, that's going to be the month where Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau begin to really market the Ahsoka Tano series ahead of its August release date window. And by the way, rest in peace to Ray Stevenson, and that is the big subject for today, by the way. A very talented actor who starred in the Thor trilogy, as well as a lot of other projects out there like The Punisher. He was doing a lot of stuff in Italy as well, where he actually passed, by the way. Very sad thing that happened just 2 days ago. So without further ado, we have a lot of things going on right now with Ray Stevenson, the Disney executives, Jon and Dave, and we're going to be discussing exactly what's going on here. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future Star Wars updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support, and without wasting too much of your time, let's get right into the subject. Now, Ray Stevenson, very talented actor, I must add. I really loved him in the Thor movies. He did a great job in those. He honestly did a very good job with the Punisher role as well. And he's got a couple of other projects that are going to be coming out regardless of his passing, because he did partially film a lot of stuff in Italy. But moving to the bigger picture here and exactly what's going on with Disney, Ray Stevenson, and of course Dave and Jon, and exactly why I feel things need to change and things need to pretty much revert the way things are going right now. And we're going to talk about this now. So, with Disney centered, of course, on developing new Star Wars movies and TV shows that will be done by Stephen Knight, Dave Filoni, James Mangold, and others, the most recent development involving Disney, Jon, and Dave may come across as controversial to the fandom. Now, the big plan that Disney has right now for the Dave Filoni-centered movie is that they are pushing a plan to replace actor Ray Stevenson as Baylan Skoll for the Dave Filoni Star Wars movie, where Ray's character is going to be a big part of that film. Now, though the context is not clear just yet, if this is, of course, to be flashbacks or set in present time for his character, Disney now is moving forward, along with Jon and Dave, to recast Ray and replace him as Baylan, and to fill in another actor for the film. The main reasoning behind this is that Baylan is said to have a new side to his story that is planned to be told in Filoni's film, where he has tons of screen time mapped out. And it would be too costly to digitally recreate Stevenson or use ILM's new deepfake technology consistently throughout the movie. Now, let me just say one thing about this, alright? Now, I think it would be wise to just write this character out of the story and to not replace Ray Stevenson as Baylan Skoll in Dave Filoni's film. I feel like when we look at Jon and Dave, yes, I do look up to them. I think that they're talented creators. I think that they're very good artists at what they do with the Star Wars franchise without Kathleen Kennedy interrupting. But, like with all people that make really great swings, they tend to miss a couple swings, and I feel that this is a swing where you miss, and I feel the right thing to do, and this is just my opinion, by the way. I don't know if you guys agree or disagree, but my opinion here, the right thing to do would be to write out Baylan Skoll from this story. Don't recast, Ray Stevenson, don't devalue him as an actor playing this character. Keep the legacy alive in Ahsoka Season 1, and if you want to, you could create perhaps a different character that's like Baylan Skoll, or maybe a character that was associated with him. They could do something as simple as that. The thing about this that I think a lot of fans may come to dislike is that recasting can be a little bit tricky, and if this character, and if it really becomes an iconic role, and Dave Filoni, by the way, has described Baylan as the Count Dooku of our time. That's basically what he called it the other day, the Count Dooku of our time. I don't know if that's just because it's an older character that's a villain, or if it goes by his personality. I'm not quite sure about that context either, but that's what Dave Filoni is calling him in Ahsoka. But what's interesting about this is that Disney is fully embracing, and they are moving forward with replacing him in Filoni's movie, and Jon and Dave are also on board with this. Now, like I said before, I just feel the right thing to do is to write out that character and embrace a new villain or a new backstory for that character, whatever it may be. Now, moving on, Disney executives, Jon and Dave, are all coming to the conclusion of now replacing Ray as Baylan after his passing to tell new tales of the character in Filoni's epic movie. Now, those that have been close to Ray, such as Rosario Dawson, suggested to just write out his character as well, altogether, and focus on a new character instead, kind of like what I just described. Since anything can be done right now, since a script has not yet been completed or formed, and only notes have been made for Filoni's movie. So look, they have the greatest opportunity here to make a change right now, without creating too much trouble, is by really just calling it quits on this character, and focusing just on keeping Ray's legacy alive and well in Ahsoka Season 1. Now look, again, you guys may disagree with me on this, but I feel that recasting is a no-go for me in Filoni's film. What they should do, most certainly, is, like I said, and like Rosario Dawson reportedly suggested to Jon and Dave, is by just focusing on a new character instead. So, we know that Dave Filoni did say that his movie is going to be a mashup of all things Mandoverse, as well as a lot of Legends content, all getting mashed up together. We also know that this movie is going to be a near 3-hour movie. It's going to be one of the longest Star Wars movies to date, so that's something very, exciting to look forward to. But moving on, Stevenson reportedly signed on for a multi-show contract deal with Lucasfilm, surprisingly, before his passing, where he was also set to reprise his role in Ahsoka Season 2 that would dive more into his backstory as a Jedi. With the recast now on the table and moving ahead, it's unclear how the fans will accept this or reject the plans of theirs. Now, for those of you that don't know much about Baylan, Ray Stevens' character, is that he was once a Jedi. Now, we're not going to be getting too much of that in the Ahsoka Tano series. It's more so just focusing on the times where he's actually sided with Grand Admiral Thrawn. It's kind of like how Dooku was told in the prequels. You don't get the light side version of him. You do get that in Tales of the Jedi and how he turned, so check that out, by the way. But yeah, the fact that Dave Filoni is calling him the Count Dooku of our time, I think it would be best to keep it to the actor and to keep it to his performance specifically. If it's really that well performed as much as Christopher Lee's portrayal of Count Dooku, I think a recast is a very big mistake. Very big mistake. I say Jon and Dave, do the right thing. Write this character out of the notes of Filoni's movie and put in something else that's really going to be just as good or as engaging. So, look, we know that the Filoni movie is going to have several villains regardless. You have Grand Admiral Thrawn that's going to be the big focus, other Dark Jedi coming to light, as well as a lot of elements from Legends. So, there's more enough to go around. So, I think that I would love to hear what you guys have to say about this overall approach by Disney, Jon, and Dave to continue the character and his story on Filoni's movie, and of course in Ahsoka Season 2. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys next time.
Night to moon, we hear them moans again.